If a tree falls in the forest, if a magnificent artist paints a beautiful painting in the forest, if you give a dancer some money, they will dance for a weekend. But share with a dance company a business plan and some marketing skills? Well then. What? You look at me. Business plan for you? Talk with Jillian. Later. Enter Jillian Poole. I see a distant land, but not far from here. The Corcoran Gallery, American University, the Kennedy Center. After her achievements at each of these institutions, Jillian enjoyed success enough for 3 careers, but a new thing would happen. The shifting politics of East and West. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. The breakup of the Soviet Union shortly thereafter. The great symphony orchestras, ballet companies, the opera houses and theaters. The museums and galleries all over Central and Eastern Europe and in Russia, well, their very existence was in question. Shifting politics. Shifting funding, state funding, redirected. The great world-class art and artists soon found themselves struggling for survival. Enter an English-born Yankee. That kind of Yankee with an unquenchable, can-do spirit. Enter Jillian Poole. Poole. Why, Poole, her very name means resource, as in a pool of resources. Jillian's fund is a sharing for the common good. Her fund redirects money for the sharing to artists and art managers for the benefit of all of them, those that share and those that receive. Enter Jillian Poole with an international resume and a willpower that's been described as a force of nature.
Experienced art professional, fluent in 3 languages, Jillian Hanbury Poole's commitment as a leader and a mentor are legendary. She believes that vibrant cultural institutions are crucial to the well-being of civil society and communities, and her efforts have nurtured and in many cases saved art communities and organizations in countries in Eastern Europe and in the former Soviet Union. She recognized the urgent needs of cultural institutions in post-communist countries, institutions faced with a sudden withdrawal of long-standing government patronage and a new age of private support and earned income. She responded by drawing on her wide-ranging experience, including her expertise in audience development and fundraising, gained as architect and builder of the fundraising programs of the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and teaching arts management to university students. Using her first-hand knowledge of working in the arts community in the United States, she reached out to her extensive contacts. In 1991, she launched an ambitious initiative and founded the Fund for Arts and Culture in Central and Eastern Europe. And the fund, as it is called, became a successful nonprofit international foundation which provides assistance to arts and cultural institutions by supporting their efforts to adjust to the free market economy. Jillian Poole's nominator is Hugh Southern, friend and volunteer associate. A cash award in her honor will be donated to the Fund for Arts and Culture in Central and Eastern Europe.
Thank you so much for this wonderful award. I am really delighted, but I feel it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to all the people who have worked for the fund and with the fund in 20 countries over the last 18 years, and there are well over 100 of them. These people are volunteers, they're senior experts in arts, performing arts, visual arts, and they give their time, and that's the way it's been. As I was thinking about what I was going to share with you this evening, I thought about all the ways that art is important. It's about communication in among communities where arts institutions are. I'm reminded of being in Yaroslavl in Russia, I don't know how many years ago, 12, 14 years ago. And the museum director came to me and she said, it is so awful. The young people have nowhere to meet. They have to meet in the bars. And I commiserated with her briefly and I said, what about the museum? She was horrified, but she was intrigued. And guess what? Young people now meet in the museum. Art bridges culture. We've done a lot of work in the Balkans, and we find that when we get, for instance, we get people in a conference on a neutral ground, and suddenly museum directors who have not spoken to each other because they are Slav or they're Croat or what have you, suddenly find that they have a lot in common and they begin to think of ways they can work together. If you start getting a thriving arts community in a country, it begins to bring in tourists, restaurants, even for the locals. It brings people into an area. It's hard to realize that in Europe, 10